Mary Wollstonecraft, the trailblazing feminist who wrote A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, lived a life as bold as her words. In 1793, she fell deeply in love with an American adventurer, Gilbert Imlay, during the chaos of the French Revolution. But when he abandoned her and their infant daughter, Mary's heartbreak drove her to a desperate act. She attempted to end her life by throwing herself into the Thames River. Remarkably, she survived and channeled her pain into writing some of her most powerful works, proving that even in despair, her resilience burned bright. Mary Wollstonecraft.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 23. For God created man to be immortal, which means to live forever, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Verse 24. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil, and that's what you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians want to be just like, which is the so-called white man. Because devil just means false accuser or deceiver. And that's exactly what this damn devil has been doing since he's been in authority. So through envy of the devil came death into the world. Look at our culture, especially what he gave you women. Feminism, which is a deaf culture, nigger culture. It's all nothing but death. The philosophies, the doctrines, the way of living of life, that American dream that people are now starting to wake up from, it was all bullshit. And they that do hold up his side do find it. Call hello Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is all praises to the Heavenly Father and its only begotten Son, Bahashem Rika Kodash, which is the Holy Spirit that deliver us all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this truth. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, the men, women, and children that serve in the Lord in sincerity and also truth, presenting their bodies as living sacrifices here in these last days, and forsaking this wicked and decrepit world. Continue to push. This your brother Mashiach, coming back at you with another refreshing and, Lord willing, it's edifying and straight to the point. This is from NBC News. Unemployment for Black women rising, especially with federal government cuts. So yes, now the serpent has used you for what he needed you for, which was to destroy your nation, to destroy your household, to destroy the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American Indian man out there. And that's exactly what you see the fruits of here in America, man. The households has been destroyed, and it was due to the philosophy that the serpent gave our foreparent Eve. And that's exactly what you see here on the screen. Eve that more than likely envied the devil. And you can clearly see this is not her natural hair color. Where did she get that ideology, that thought pattern from? The so-called white people that she want to be just like, that now has recently released her from a job.
They have no idea how I feel. It's just horrible. It's horrible.
Quay Crowner calls herself a career vet, having worked in federal jobs for over 3 decades. But at 55 years...
For over 3 decades. So she thought this was going to go on forever, which was that ideology. And what is that ideology? Feminism. And let's get the definition.
Feminism.
And this is from Bing. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Here's some synonyms. Women's liberation, which means the freedom to do as thou wilt, which was a philosophy from the serpent. To be free, which is a deaf culture. Women's rights, post-feminism, womenism, women's lib. And let's scroll over here to Wikipedia. Feminism is a range of social political movements and ideologies. There you go. That ideology came from who? The serpent, which is the devil, a nationality of people, which is the Edomites. Because we got the co-founder from the beginning of feminism, which was Mary Wollstonecraft. And that's what the serpent was known as. Crafty. Wollstonecraft is her last name. Ain't that something? Let's hear this one more time real quick.
Mary Wollstonecraft, the trailblazing feminist who wrote A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, lived a life as bold as her words.
And that's exactly how these women in America have become. Just like this woman. Bold. Masculine.
In 1793, she fell deeply in love with an American adventurer, Gilbert Imlay, during the chaos of the French Revolution. But when he abandoned her and their infant daughter, Mary's...
What does that sound like? The black community. When the father leave the household, they try to do what? Fuck that nigga over. Child support, goddamn alimony, divorce.
Heartbreak drove her to a desperate act.
So the nigger woman, the Latino woman, and the Native American Indian woman have the spirit of who? Mary Wollstonecraft.
She attempted to end her life by...
And then she attempted to end her life, which means to do what? Commit suicide. What did we just get in Wisdom of Solomon? Let's read that one more time. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 23. For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy, wanting to be just like these heathens, worship the golden calf. That's exactly what we started to do when we came out of the wilderness of Egypt. The deliverance. We started to bow down to idols. Envy the other heathen nations. We wanted a king over us. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil, wanting to be just like these fucking heathen nations. Starting with the Edomites, the so-called white people. The devil the Bible speaks of came death into the world. What did this woman try to do? Commit suicide. And they that do hold his side, you want to be just like him, take a hold of that ideology and run with it and hold on to his coattail, you're going to die with this goddamn place that's falling, which is America. And they that do hold of his side do find it, you see, which is death. And that's exactly what this woman tried to do, which is the spirit on all you Americans now, that this place is failing.
Her to a desperate act. She attempted to end her life by throwing herself into the Thames River. Remarkably, she survived and channeled her pain into writing some of her most powerful works.
There you go. That's what she did. She channeled her pain into writing feminism. Because she's the co-founder or founder of feminism, pretty much. And that's that pain that she gave to you women.
Proving that even in despair, her resilience burned bright.
And it's burning bright as hell here in America, which is feminism. Going back to the Wikipedia. So feminism holds the position that modern societies, that's now, are patriarchal. They prioritize the male point of view and that women are treated unjustly in these societies. That's what they use, the excuse. Meaning a woman being under subjection of her man. That's unjust. That's not right. A woman being in order, because that's the rightful order with the Heavenly Father. Efforts to change this include fighting against gender stereotypes and improving educational. And that's what you're going to see with this woman that just got pretty much fired or laid off from her job. That's pretty much what she was in, the educational system. Let's hear this video clip real quick.
Fett, having worked in federal jobs for over 3 decades. But
There you go. She worked in the federal job for over 3 decades.
at 55 years old, while employed by the Department of Education. So how did you...
She was employed by the Department of Education, showing you whose ideology, whose philosophy, whose school she went to get that education. The serpent. So, let's go back to our Wikipedia feminism. Efforts to change this include fighting against. No, let's go. That's right. Efforts to change this include fighting against gender stereotypes and improving educational, professional, and interpersonal opportunities and outcomes for women. That goes into what? Feminism. And this woman, she was employed by the Department of Labor and Education.
you find out you were being let go?
An email.
And she's not alone. The latest jobs numbers revealing there were 319,000 fewer black women employed in July versus February. What went through your...
319,000 so-called black women have lost their jobs this year. And this goes back to pretty much the agreement that Eve from the beginning made with the serpent in the garden, which was the devil. And let's go back to it real quick. Let's go back to the beginning, which is Genesis. And that's what Genesis means. Genesis chapter 3 in verse 1. And you see what it's entitled, the fall of man. A fall of a man is what? A woman. You got niggas in the graveyard. Niggas behind bars. Niggas bug the fuck out of their mind. Due to who? Women. The fall of man, the man and woman sin. And this is what happened during the beginning. And we see the fruits of those labors playing out here today, which is here in America. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast, because that's what serpent goes into. It's not talking about a literal snake. A serpent moves what? Subtle, crafty. When you got a nigga that is talking behind your back, you call him what? A snake ass nigga. And that's exactly what the so-called white man is known as. Subtle. You can't trust this damn devil. And that's also why he's known as the devil. Now the serpent, which was a nationality of people during this time. The Bible speaks in code or parabolic speaking. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. And beast, the Lord likened beast also to man. And man unto beast. And let's prove that real quick. Let's get Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, bear with me real quick. Yep. Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 18. I said in mine heart, and this is King Solomon. We just got wisdom of Solomon, and he told us through envy of the devil came death into the world. He was the wisest king. So who knows more than King Solomon besides Yahushua, which was King Solomon in the reincarnation? I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of man, that God might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. So beasts are also likened unto who? The sons of man. So that's who the Heavenly Father was speaking about during the beginning, the serpent. He was more subtle than any beast, the sons of man. of the field, which the Lord God had made. You see? So beast is likened unto man. Now let's get what serpent is going into, showing you that it's not speaking about a literal snake.
Strong's H 5175. Nachash. Nachash.
Nahash, that's how you say it in the Greek. Serpent, snake, it could go into a literal snake. Image of a serpent. Fleeing serpent, mythological. Now let's get the root word, because it's going to go into exactly what Yahweh Bashim Yahushua was speaking about in the beginning.
Strong's H 5172. Nachash. Nachash.
Nakash. To practice divination, which is what? Witchcraft, sorcery, divine, observe signs learned by experience, diligently observe, practice fortune telling. What did Elon Musk say about AI, artificial intelligence? We're summoning the demons. Don't they got a portal called CERN that they open up for demons to come into this realm? And who owns that? Sure as hell not the Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, but the Edomites, which were the serpents, the sons of man in the beginning. Take as an omen, because what was then is now. They're doing the same exact thing that they was doing in the beginning. Enchantments, divine interventions, diligently observing. To practice divination, to observe the signs or omens, fortune telling, witches and warlocks. That's who's in authority here today, which were back then, which was the serpents. And he said unto the woman, which was Eve, yea, had God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And trees bear what? They bear fruit. And I know that you have heard the saying, food for thought. That's exactly what the serpent was giving Eve, a philosophy. That's that tree or fruit. It wasn't no goddamn apple. It doesn't even say an apple in here. That's mythological. That's what the serpent will give you to make you think it's talking about something else. And the woman said unto the serpent, the Edomites, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. So the Heavenly Father gave them the right way from the beginning. He gave them the laws, statutes, and commandments. They had that ideology of the right way. They wasn't supposed to know the evil or wickedness. And that's pretty much what the serpent gave Eve. And we're going to prove it. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And we just got in Wisdom of Solomon, through envy of the devil came death into the world. That philosophy. And what is a philosophy?
Philosophy.
The study of the fundamental nature of knowledge. So the serpent offered Eve some knowledge on the left-hand side, which came from who? The spiritual demon Satan. Because that's who the serpent was working with from the beginning. Reality and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. And that's what we were supposed to be disciplined to, which was righteousness from the beginning. But Eve, she took that forbidden fruit, which was wickedness. So let's get some of the synonyms. The study of theoretical basis of a particular branch of knowledge or experience. So Eve, she wanted to experience what? Feminism. That's what the serpent gave. That's what the serpent gave her.
Feminism.
So let's go back to philosophy and get some of the synonyms. Thinking. So the serpent offered Eve another thinking way. Reasoning. He reasoned with her. Hey, you shall surely not die if you eat of the forbidden fruit in the midst of the garden. Reasoning. That's exactly what the serpent was doing with Eve. Giving her food for thought. Thought. Wisdom. He gave her left hand side knowledge. Wisdom. Knowledge. There you go. So now let's go back to what the serpent told Eve. Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. So he gave her, hey man, uplifting. Hey, if you take this knowledge from the left-hand side, you're not going to die. He told her the truth, and he also told her a lie. Because this is the truth. Verse 5, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. That's when he told her the truth. Because yes, that's how you become a god. You got to know both sides, and that's what we're in rehearsal for. Due to our rebellion, we got to learn both sides, both good and evil. A lot of you may think, why is the Lord taking me down this rough and evil path? Well, that's how you become a god. And that's what the nation of Israel is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. But he also told her a lie, that she shall not surely die. And that's exactly what Wisdom of Solomon told us, through envy of the devil. For you taking that philosophy, that doctrine, that way of living of life, which was feminism, that ideology, now death is running rampant all over the earth. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and for verse 2. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. And this is the Apostle Paul to the Israelites in Corinth. For I have espoused you to one husband. So you're only supposed to have what? One husband. What did the serpent give Eve? Feminism. Hey, man, you can gad a bride and do as thou wilt. You don't like your husband? Get a divorce. Who gave you that philosophy? The so-called white man did. For I have espoused you to one husband. Because you're not supposed to do what? Commit adultery. But adultery is running rampantly where? Here in America. That I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. And that you be, hey man, lucky to find a goddamn virgin. She got to be a child. Here in America, all these women are promiscuous. But that's pretty much what the Apostle Paul was likening the church to, that he espouses to one husband, one way, one ideology, one thought pattern. And it was supposed to be of righteousness, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent, not a literal snake, but the sons of man, the sons of the wicked, the Edomites, beguiled Eve. What does it mean by being beguiled? Undivided devotion or salakia. Nope. Corrupted. There we go. That's what beguiled mean. As the serpent beguiled Eve, he corrupted her with what? The philosophy. Through his subtlety. So your mind, what did he get inside of? Her thought. Going back to philosophy.
Philosophy.
Thinking, reasoning, thought, wisdom, and knowledge. He gave her left hand side knowledge, which was feminism. So as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach, which is Yahweh Shai. That's what we're supposed to be learning of, not left-hand knowledge. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, and what is the gospel? The good news from the scriptures. It is hid to them that are lost, and that's our people. They're lost in the sauce. They're lost in the philosophies, the ideologies, the doctrines, the way of living of life of who? And whom the God of this world, who is this world given over to? Job 9 and 24 is given over into the hands of the wicked, the Edomites, which is the serpent people. And whom the God of this world, he passes all the different, sanctions, tariffs. He's the one who set up his democracy, set up all the different embassies, colonizing and taking everyone's land. He's the God of this world right now. This is Satan's queendom or kingdom. I call it a queendom because it's known as a filthy whore, Babylon, and whom the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not. And that's exactly what the serpent did in the beginning with Eve. And then she gave that forbidden fruit to who? Her husband, which was Adam. And that's where death came into the world. Because what is the rightful order? Bear with me. 2 Corinthians. Trying to get the spelling correct. 2 Corinthians. What is it? Yep. 1 Corinthians. That's what I went to 2 Corinthians instead of first. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man. You see? But what did the serpent do in the beginning? He switched the roles and gave the woman Eve feminism.
Feminism.
Women's liberation to get off from under who? Her husband, which is her head. Because we got a head that we got to answer to, which is the Lord, Yahweh Shai, Christ. He has a head, which is the Heavenly Father. And that's verse 2. But we're in verse 3 right now. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, you see? But the serpent told Eve, hey, you can lead the household. You can be the man. You can wear the breeches. You can get an education and pretty much be the head of the household. Matter of fact, get the nigga out of the household and we'll give you government aid, like child support, like Section 8. That was that forbidden fruit that Eve was not supposed to partake in. So in the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ, oh no, it's in the same verse, is God. There we go. That's the order. God, the anointed, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, the man, the woman, and then the children. You see? So 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 4, in whom the God of this world, the so-called white man, had blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel, the good news of Christ, because he's our head. He's the mediator to get us back to the Heavenly Father, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahweh Shai's sake. You see? And we're going to get into the serpent. But let's go back to this video clip real quick. Matter of fact, let's get this first one more time, because I want to bring out about the serpent. Because remember, it goes into the sons of man. We're known as beast.
Mary Wollstonecraft, the trailblazing feminist who wrote A Vindication of the Rights of Woman, lived a life as bold as her words. In 1793, she fell deeply in love with an American adventurer, Gilbert Imlay, during the chaos of the French Revolution. But when he abandoned her and their infant daughter, Mary's heartbreak drove her to a desperate act. She attempted to end her life by throwing herself into the Thames River.
So through envy of the devil came death. You see, this is the founder of feminism. And what did she try to do? Commit suicide, because her so-called marriage didn't work out. She pushed her pain on all you other women out there. In particular, the so-called nigger, spick, and savage woman out there. That's who she wanted to destroy, and for you to feel her misery as well. And that's exactly what's going on now. So this is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 7. But this is I came here to bring out about the serpent. But this is going into the war of Armageddon, the last battle. But let's get it. Of what John the Revelator described it as. And the angel Michael. And there was war in heaven. And this is going to come during World War III, when those nuclear missiles start flying. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. A serpent starts out as a snake, right? And then it grows into what? A dragon. This is the book of Revelation. This is the end. So the serpent that started out as a snake in the garden has now 7 heads and 10 horns, which is a beast system. America, I'm going to start with NATO. NATO, the EU, and America is the horde that rideth upon the beast, the dragon. This is that beast system that they now have established. And the dragon fought and his angels. And who is Esau's angels? His satellites, Palantir, his cameras all over America, which has us in a prison planet. Because angels do what? They watch. But also his angels goes into his military. What is he sending over there to Venezuela, to the Middle East, to aid and push his democracy? His military, his angels. That's who's going to be warring in heaven with Michael the archangel, Yahushua when he makes his return, and all the holy host. And prevailed not. They're not going to get the victory. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. You see, this is Esau's heaven right now we're living in. This is his world. And the great dragon, America, NATO, the EU, was cast out. It's going to be destroyed. That old serpent, you see, they're known as what? The old serpent, called the devil. through envy of the devil came death into the world. And Satan means what? False accuser. Or adversary, Salakia, not false accuser. Devil means false accuser. Satan means adversary. That's the Israelites' number one adversary. The serpent, which deceived the whole world. He didn't only deceive the children of Israel, he deceived the whole entire world with his philosophy, his doctrine, his way of living of life, his pseudoscience, his technology. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So they're going to be destroyed when Yahushua makes his second return. Verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power. So the kingdom of Yahushua is going to come after Esau's rule, because he's known as what? Let's show you real quick. It's going to line up perfectly, man. Beautiful. These scriptures are powerful, man. Check this out. And this is going to be 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau, Ishashua, the first came out red all over like in hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. They're not really so-called white. That was a social construct. And if anybody would be the devil, what color do they portray the devil? And mythological pictures as a red man in a spandex suit with a pitchfork under the earth where you burn forever, poking you in your ass with that pitchfork, which was bullshit. Really, the devil is here on earth, which is Esau. For Esau is the end of the world. You see, when his kingdom is done, his heaven, who's got next? And Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. So Esau will be known as the end of the world. So going back now that we understand that, it should make sense in the book of Revelation. Revelation, come on now, pull up. Chapter 12 and verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation. Salvation is for who? Jacob. And strength and the kingdom. Jacob got next to rule. of our power and the power of his anointed Yahushai's kingdom, which is the kingdom of heaven. For the accuser of our brethren, the devil. Remember what devil means. It means accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our power day and night. What are they saying about the Latinos? They're rounding them up with ICE. They're saying they're the problem of America. That's why you're losing your jobs. What are they doing with the blacks? They're dispatching the National Guard in Chicago, D.C., and all the other places like New York, where the niggas reside. They're accusing us, calling us domestic terrorists, which accuse them before our power day and night, continually demonizing us on his media. That's where he works his what? His sorcery, his pseudoscience, his witchcraft, his divination. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, Yahushua, and by the word of their testimony. What are we doing right now? Speaking these words into existence. And they loved not their lives unto the death. So some of us is going to be put to death in these detention centers, these re-education systems, these alligator Alcatraz that they're throwing us in. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Woe means death and destruction. And that's what Esau is doing right now. He's destroying the earth. For the devil, that's what he's known as. The devil the Bible speaks of, the false accuser, is come down unto you, having great wrath. Who is he coming down onto us with? His angels, which is his military force. ICE, the National Guard, the UN troops, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. That's why you so-called black women are losing your jobs now, because we're in the verge of Jacob's trouble. And he's coming down with great wrath because he's trying to establish that new world order, that one world system. So now you black women are starting to feel that, what do you call it? When something falls apart, the collapsing of the agreement that you made with the serpent in the garden back from the beginning. It's now starting to fail. Going back to the video clip.
Out you were being let go.
An email.
And she's not alone. The latest jobs numbers revealing there were 319,000 fewer black women employed in July versus February.
319,000. You see? The devil knows that he has but a short time. So he's coming down with great wrath. Get rid of you niggas. Get rid of you spits. Get rid of you savages. That's exactly what the serpent is doing now.
February. What went through your mind when you realized that it's been many black women affected by jobs losses?
I saw the headlines, but I felt it first, and it was a conversation amongst my colleagues.
Since February, the rate of unemployment for black women rising by almost a percentage point, while the unemployment rate for everyone over 20 is staying flat and even declining for white and Hispanic women. The unemployment rate...
Look at that. Who is it declining for? The majority? Black and Hispanic women. They got the 5%, unlike everyone else.
For black men, also jumping.
The losses that have...
See? Because the serpent knows exactly what time and season we're living in. That his time is almost up. But once again, through envy of the devil came death into the world. And let's get a quick precept. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. And it reads, envy thou not the oppressor. And this is in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not envy or covet, the same exact thing. Nothing of your neighbors. That's the same exact thing as envy, covetousness. And when you envy or covetous over something, you do anything to get it. And that's our people. They'll sell their souls. They'll eat doo-doo. They'll bend over and get trains ran on them. They'll do all types of decrepit shit. Give up their morals. Sign their name in blood on the line. make contracts and deals with the serpent. Because this is his world. This is his heaven. That's who you got to go to if you want to make it on this side. So envy thou not the oppressor. And you seen this woman, she had what? Let's go back to the beginning. She had what? Blonde hair, showing you she wanted to be just like the so-called white people. Blonde her hair, which is leprosy, a curse. Get the blue contacts, bleach their skin. That's our people. Michael Jackson, that's an example. So envy thou not the oppressor. Who's been oppressing you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians? The devil the Bible speaks of, Esau, Edom, the so-called white people. That's the one who has been oppressing you, telling you niggas to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. And choose none of his ways. What's one of his ways? What has sent us down a pathway of death? Feminism.
Feminism.
The serpent's
philosophy.
That's what we're not supposed to be envying. His thought patterns, his way of living of life, his tradition, his religion, that American dream, MAGA. Make America great again. That means make it white. Get rid of your black and brown ass. And that's exactly what the serpent is doing right now.
Occurred over the first half of this year have disproportionately been borne by Black women.
Valerie Ralston Wilson is director of the program on race, ethnicity, and the economy at the Economic Policy Institute. She says the Trump administration slashing jobs across federal agencies is having an impact.
We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated.
There you go. We got to. We got to cut you niggas off. That's the only way we can make America great again. We got to make it white. Meanwhile, he's deporting all the illegal so-called, which this is their land, the indigenous, that they came over here, committed genocide, and stole, broke every peace treaty. That's what a serpent would do, right? That's exactly what these damn devils are. And you see, Donald J. Trump is not the color of his undershirt. He's the color of what? His tie. And that's what Esau means. Red. Or Edom. Edom means red. Esau means Ishashua, pale. The skin is translucent. The blood shows forth. Piss him off. See what color he turned. We call them here in the South rednecks. That's exactly what they are. Devils. So let's get Deuteronomy. Let's get what our forefather Moses said about these heathens real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 32. And we're going to start it off at verse 30. Come on. There we go. So this is from our forefather Moses. 31. We'll start off at 31. For their rock is not as our rock. And Yahushua, Hamashiach, he's known as that rock. That sure foundation that we're supposed to be standing upon. That's what you're supposed to build your house upon. A rock, not sand. And who is their rock? The heathen nations, starting with the Edomites. Even our enemies, you see, they're known as what? Our adversaries, Satan, themselves being judges. Right now, they're in the power seat. Right now, they're in authority to where they can judge. For their vine, a vine is where a tree comes from, or a vine is where fruit also comes from. Remember what the serpent told Eve. You shall not eat of what? The tree. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom. What did they legalize here in America? Sodomy. They're doing the same exact things that they was doing back in ancient Sodom and Gomorrah. And how did the Heavenly Father judge that place? With fire and brimstone. What is the destiny for America? Babylon the Great. To be destroyed by way of a lake of fire. That's what you do with a whore. You burn her with fire. For their vine is the vine of Sodom. That's what they push and promote. You got to put on a dress if you want to make it in this world. Look at all the rappers. Look at all the actors. Look at all the athletes. They got to put on dresses if they want those deals. Because their vine is the vine of Sodom. That fruit that the serpent gave them in the garden. And of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes, that forbidden fruit are grapes of gall. Gall is what? Piss. Disgusting. Their clusters are bitter. Poison, man. Those grapes. And let's get this word grapes real quick, because it's going to go into something key.
Strong's H 6025. A knob.
A knob is how you say it in the Greek. From an unused root, probably meaning to bear fruit. You see? That forbidden fruit. They're grape. A grape, vine, or ripe, and wine. That's exactly what I wanted right there. That's the key word. What do you use to make wine? You need grapes. Now let's get what Micah, the prophet, said about our enemies' wine. And we know that this wine here in America is all tainted. It's got all types of toxic chemicals and poisons, concoctions. That's why the liquor store is known as what? Spirits. Because that's all different types of concoctions. What does a witch do? She brews stuff. And that's what America has done. Babylon. Let's get Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. This is what the prophet Micah said about this place. Micah 2 and verse 10. Arise ye. Arise is something that you do when you wake up in the morning. When you hear that alarm clock, you get your ass up to make ends meet. You got to work that 9 to 5 job because we're in captivity. So arise ye spiritually. Wake the hell up and depart. Come out of the different philosophies.
Philosophy.
Come out of feminism.
Feminism.
Come out of sodomy. Come out of bitch madeness. Because that's what America pushes. It softens your bitch ass up, man. It's time to gird up your loins like man. That's what the Lord told who was it? Was it Job? Yeah, it was Job, the prophet. Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart. Come out of the different philosophies. Come out of the different doctrines. Come out of the different wicked religions. Come out of the wicked traditions like Christmas, Thanksgiving that's coming up. 4th of July, Halloween, witches and warlocks, goons and goblins. That's what they got you niggas celebrating. And depart, for this is not your rest. You see? This is not the kingdom of heaven. This was our captivity where we're not going to have no rest. This was hell because it is polluted morally, economically. Look at how much debt America is in. This place is collapsing. Spiritually, the educational system is all tainted and polluted. They teach you just how to be a goddamn worker. That's what you go to school for debt and to learn how to be a good servant. It is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Look at our people. Through envy of the devil came death into the world, and we're ruined completely. Verse 11, here's the point about those grapes, which is wine. If a man, which is the so-called white man, remember the Lord likened the beast unto the sons of man. If a man walking, and that's what the Lord called the serpent. He was more subtle than any beast. If a man walking in the spirit, so he comes with a spirit as well from the left-hand side, from the spiritual demon, Satan. And falsehood, do lie. That's what he did. He lied to you goddamn women.
Feminism.
Giving you feminism, women's liberation, women's rights, post-feminism, womenism, women's lib. And where has that led your black ass? To be unemployed here in 2025.
We're sloppy.
We know that Black women are about 12% of the federal workforce, which I believe is about double their share in the workforce overall. So losses in that sector, you would expect to have a larger impact on Black women.
But with federal employment dropping by only about 70,000 people since February, the numbers can't tell the whole story. Wilson says cuts to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives across the public and private sectors are also starting to show up in national numbers.
Not so much that all of a sudden all the Black workers are being let go, but if you're cutting out departments that do that, I mean, the people that worked in those departments were, more likely to be Black workers.
The White
There you go. More than likely to be Black workers. Micah 2 and verse 11. If a man walking in the spirit and falsehood, do lie. He lied to you, saying, I will prophesy. Somebody who prophesies, they tell you the future. What is Donald J. Trump saying? We got to get rid of you. He's telling you the future. Let's hear it one more time real quick.
Administration slashing jobs across federal agencies is having an impact.
We're cutting down the size of government. We have to.
There you go. He's prophesying. If a man walking in the spirit, he's not only lied to you niggas, but also you Americans. People are saying they wish they never voted for this goddamn devil right here. The MAGAs. But he's prophesying to you right now.
We're bloated. We're sloppy.
We know that Black women are about 12% of the federal work.
There you go. So if a man walking in the spirit and falsehood do lie, he lied to you Americans. He said, hey man, the jobs are growing. We're going to stop the wars. He ain't did nothing but the total opposite. I will prophesy unto thee of wine, those grapes, of gall, poison, and of strong drink. What happens if we drink too much liquor? You fuck around and get intoxicated. Now you Americans are starting to sober up and realize, hey man, what happens when you got a drunk? They either cry or they rage. They're angry. These Americans, and we're happy, man. They've been off that strong, that Babylonian juice. He shall even be the prophet of this people. You guys made him your king. And now, hey, man, you're reaping what you sowed, motherfuckers. You get, what you deserve. All of you that put your trust and stock in this goddamn place, you're going to be ashamed. Deuteronomy 32 and verse 32. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, that wine. Their clusters are bitter. Man, the policies, the democracy, the philosophies, the doctrines, the religions, the traditions, all this shit is bitter here in America, man. Their wine is the poison of dragons. They are those serpents from the garden that's now a beast system. They're a dragon. And the cruel venom of asp. What happens if you get bit from a poisonous snake? You die. So why the fuck are you playing around with snakes? That's what these goddamn devils are. And matter of fact, let's get Sirach real quick, because he goes into those snakes in Ecclesiasticus, which is the Apocrypha, chapter 12 and verse 10. Check this out. And it reads, never, not sometimes, but never trust thine enemy. Yes, we got enemies. Psalms 83 goes into the whole hit list, and guess who's at the top of it? Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white people. For like as iron rusted, so is his, speaking about a man, his wickedness. That's what the serpent gave Eve in the beginning, that forbidden fruit, which was the ways of wickedness. Though he humble himself, a snake comes what? Subtle, crafty, a snake-ass nigger. Though he humble himself, you don't see a snake until you get bit and go crouching. What else crouches? Lions that are fierce. Yet take good heed and beware of him. Like you see on these big ass fences to like junkyards. You see a beware of dog sign, and then your ass fuck around and jump over that fence and see that Rottweiler or see that Doberman, see that big ass pit bull. You're going to regret not listening to that sign. Beware. That's what Sirach is saying about who? The serpent, the Edomites. Beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. You got something that's iron, you set it outside, even if it's not raining, just from the dew, from early morning. That moist that get on the iron is going to eventually do what? Rust, even if it's not raining outside. That's pretty much what the Lord is comparing the Edomites to. They're like iron that eventually their rust, which is their wickedness, is going to come up. Set him not by thee, least when he had overthrown thee. What did the serpent want to do to Adam in the beginning? He wanted to overthrow him, take his position. And that's exactly what he did. He went to who? his wife, which was Eve. And there's a reason why he went to his wife. Let's show you the reason why. This is the reason why. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, was not Adam Eve's husband? Dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. That's why the serpent went to Eve, because she's the weaker vessel. He wasn't going to try Adam's nuts because he knew he couldn't get over. So he had to go to who? To get to Adam, Eve. And as being hearers together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So that's why the serpent went to Eve, because she's the weaker vessel. Her mind is easily manipulated. So verse 12 in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12. Set him not by thee, least when he had overthrown thee. He goes to who? The weaker vessel, to overthrow your household. He stand up in thy place. Now he's calling himself Jewish. Now he's saying, I'm God's chosen. Ain't that what Trump said? Which is bullshit. Well, God did choose you, but he didn't choose you to be his chosen people. He chose you for the day of evil. Matter of fact, let's prove it. Yep, Proverbs 16 and verse 4. The Lord had made all things. Yes, the Lord made every nationality of people. The Lord made all the animals, all the fowls, all the fishes of the sea. The Lord had made all things for himself, all the planets, yea, even the wicked. And that's what the Edomites is known as, the border of wickedness. Malachi 1 and verse 4. For the day of evil, you see? So they got a purpose. The Lord created they red asses to usher in the day of evil, which is Armageddon, World War III, and it's almost here. Full-fledged. It's here already, but it just ain't kicked off full-fledged yet. But it's here, baby. So set him not by thee, least when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand. You know what you call your right hand man. He knows everything about you. That's what Esau been doing. He been experimenting with the Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians for a long time now. He's been at our right hand, watching, surveilling every goddamn thing we do. He knows your thought patterns. He knows where you go. Least he seek to take thy seat. They're sitting in our position right now. That's in the book of Lamentations. The crown has fallen off of our heads. Now they sit in a position of authority. That's also in Ecclesiastes. Servants sitting upon horses, which is a position of authority. And thou at the last, remember my words, and be pricked therewith. And that's exactly what he's trying to do with his pseudoscience, his technology, the mark of the beast system. That's also in the book of Revelation, that no man might be able to buy or sell, save he that had the mark. Because he's going to try and prick you with that C-hip inside of your right hand, or Neuralink inside of your forehead. That's the fourth industrial revolution, merging man with technology. That's another ideology that we got to arise ye and depart, the mark of the beast. So here's the point, verse 13. Who will pity? When you pity somebody, you have sympathy, you have mercy. So who's going to have mercy? Who's going to pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Going back to the garden. This was that nationality of people that we see ruling here today, which is the Edomites. So who's going to feel bad for you niggas that go along with this agenda, this new world order, this one world system, and receive its mark? We're not going to feel bad for your destruction or any such as come nigh wild beast. Didn't the Lord liken man unto beast? And that's exactly what they are. A beast is uncultivated. A beast will take a shit right in front of you. A beast will lick his nuts right in front of you. They're nasty as hell. That's these heathen nations, man. They ain't got no morals. They ain't got no standards. They really ain't got no culture. All the idols, the deities, the false gods they got from all the other heathen nations, like ancient Egypt, ancient Assyria, ancient Babylon. And they mingled and mixed all that shit. And that's what you got here in the great melting pot, which is Babylon the Great, aka America. This is a place of wild beast animals. These fucking women, these badass children, these niggas, they're beasts. These heathens, these Edomites in particular, they ain't got no standards, man. They ain't got no morals. So going back to the video clip.
Workforce, which I believe is about double their share in the workforce overall. So losses in that sector, you would expect to have a larger impact on Black women.
But with federal employment dropping by only about 70,000 people since February, the numbers can't tell the whole story. Wilson says cuts to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives across the public and private sectors are also starting to show up in national numbers.
Not so much that all of a sudden all the Black workers are being let go, but if you're cutting out departments that do that, I mean, the people that work in those departments were, more likely to be Black workers.
The White House pointing to record low Black unemployment rates during President Trump's first term and telling NBC News in a statement in part, the president is committed to fostering.
Even during his first term, the number of Black employment was up there, showing you who he don't really like.
An economy that creates opportunities for all Americans, citing the administration's deportation efforts as opening up jobs previously held by undocumented immigrants. Now, some Black women are fighting their terminations. Quay Crowner, based near Annapolis, Maryland, is now part of a class action lawsuit with the ACLU, alleging discrimination by the Trump administration, including the Department of Education. The DOE telling NBC News its employment decisions were made without regard to employees' race, gender, or political affiliation. Suggestions otherwise are unfounded.
Trust in government is so broken.
Trust in government is so broken. That's biblical. This is what the Lord said about your trust in Egypt, because that's what we're in all over again. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Judah is the head tribe, which will be the so-called Negroes, the African Americans, warned against Egyptian alliance. What do you see right here on the screen? A so-called Negro. What did she say about the trust in the government? Let's hear that one more time.
Or unfounded.
Trust in government is so broken.
There you go, man. Woe means destruction. It's broken to the rebellious children. Who is those rebellious children? The Israelites, starting with you Negroes, saith the Lord, that take counsel. They went to Esau's theologic school. They went to his colleges, got his degrees. They take counsel of this place, but not of me, which is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the Lord. And that cover with a covering, you know, when you put your covers over you, that's how you stay warm. Our people put their trust and stock in this system. That was their covering instead of God, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Because what is sin? Transgression of the Heavenly Father's law. He didn't tell you to trust in the so-called white man. He told you to flee. Flee from the face of a serpent as from sin. Matter of fact, that's in Ecclesiastes. Let's go back to that real quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? We don't feel bad for you black women, because you're the ones who trusted in the serpent. Or any such as come nigh wild beast. You should have noted that nigga was an animal. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him, you see, in his sins. Who will pity? Who gonna feel bad? We warned your black ass. For a while he will abide with thee. But if thou begin to fall, what's happening to the black women? They're beginning to fall. They're getting fired, laid off. But if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. He ain't gonna give no fucks about you. An enemy, that's what they're known as. Speak it sweetly with his lips. That's Donald J. Trump, the cruel Lord. But in his heart, he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. A pit is what? A trap. A deep ditch. And that's what you do to put a dead body inside of, which is a grave. He will keep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Whoo! If adversity come upon thee, that's what's happening to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians here in America right now. We're in adversity. Thou shalt find him there first, deploying ICE, deploying the National Guard, making all types of legislation, which is really draconian measures, martial law. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee, get over on you. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Now you starting to see those teeth of that dragon. Remember, the devil shall come down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Now you're starting to see his horns. The devil the Bible speaks of.
I have no idea when or if that trust can ever be regained. I've had an opportunity to...
That trust, going back to Isaiah, our people trust in this system that's failing them, instead of putting their trust and hope in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is the Lord. Isaiah 30 and verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt. And who is synonymous with Egypt? Joel chapter 3 and verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation. Ancient Egypt is over there in our so-called Africa. Africa is not totally destroyed. You can still take a vacation over there right now. And Edom, that's who's linked with Egypt. That's who's synonymous with Egypt here in these last days. Look at the back of your dollar bill. You got what? A pyramid showing you we're in Egypt, which means bondage all over again. Egypt shall be a desolation. That's the fate of Babylon the Great, which is America. It's going to be totally destroyed. And Edom, the Edomites, shall be a desolate wilderness. Why? For the violence against the children of Judah. Who do you see on the screen? The Negroes, the children of Judah. Because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Because they're going to throw you in alligator Alcatraz with the Northern Kingdom, the Latinos as well. Because what did Trump put into legislation? He's going to get all the homeless. Because guess what? When you ain't got no job, you're going to become what? Homeless, off the streets. We got a place for you, detention centers, FEMA camps, re-education systems, where they're going to be slaying you, killing you. The violence, the bloodshed, showing you the Bible is faithful and true. So our people that walk to go down into Egypt, which is America, and have not asked at my mouth, how does the Lord speak to you? His prophets. Am I telling you to trust in America? Hell no. Are the other prophets out there on the highways and hedges and on these online epistles telling you to trust in America? Hell no. They're telling you to depart, to get right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai before it's too late, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. We just got who's linked with Egypt. Edom, he's modern day Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which is America. And to trust in the shadow of Egypt, the shadow does what? It disappears eventually, once that light goes down. So once the Lord removes his spirit from this place, the famine of the word hit, you're going to be ashamed. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. What does Babylon mean? It means confusion, where a boy can be a girl can be a boy. But all of you in that confused ass mind state, still putting your trust and stock in what?
Feminism.
And the serpent's what?
Philosophy.
You're going to be fucking ashamed and confused, not knowing which way to turn, man. Disgraced.
To serve across many administrations, and there's always change, and it is expected. But the level of brokenness that has occurred is like any other time I've ever seen.
Black women in America facing jobs uncertainty and counting the cost.
Woo! You're going to be ashamed. Counting the cost. And that's going to lead us to, hey, man, our closing precepts. Isaiah 32 and verse 7. The instruments also of the cruel, the scoundrel, are evil. Remember, the Lord created all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. And what is his instruments that he's going to try and implement? The beast system. And call Holo Yahweh Bashim Abishai. It was just 10:4:4. So the instruments also of the cruel, the Edomites, are evil. He devised wicked devices. What is that wicked device? The Neuralink that he wants to put inside of your forehead. That insurgent that he wants to put inside of your right hand, the C-hip. So all your information can be linked inside of you. The mark of the beast system that he's setting up. He devised wicked devices to destroy the poor, you see. Fire you from your jobs. He already know you need your job. You're poor already. With lying words, even when the needy speak it right. But the liberal devising liberal things. That's what they call themselves. They call themselves generous, but these are really scoundrels, snakes, serpents, dragons. And by liberal things shall he stand. His policy. His draconian measures. Here's the point, verse 9. Rise up. It's time to wake the hell up, man. You ye women. Who is this happening to? Unemployment for black women is rising, especially with federal government cuts.
Zinkley, a lot of eyes now. She's joining us now. It's good to see you. A lot of eyes, of course, on this jobs report tomorrow, right? What are some of the trends that folks are looking for?
Yeah, so Hallie, the economist we spoke with, is really concerned that this could become a long-term trend, specifically when it comes to the issue of wage losses. We heard Valerie Wilson say that a lot of these federal jobs, as you know, are career workers, like Quay, the woman we heard from. And she also says that wage gaps in the public sector tend to be smaller than the private. So she now worries that those pay gaps for black women will be amplified. If you just look, as of 2022, we know the gender pay gap for women, specifically black women, is large. While white women make around 83 cents to every dollar a white man makes, black women make just 70 cents. Hispanic women are the only group pacing behind them. But Hallie, many experts worry that with these trends, those numbers will only be amplified.
Zinkley Esamoah, thank you very much.
Those numbers are only going to be amplified. Isaiah 32 and verse 9 in the NLT. Listen, you women who lie around in ease, getting that government aid, Section 8, child support, alimony, food stamps, WIC, whatever it is, getting that education, getting these six-figure paying jobs that they're now starting to cut. You've been at ease, which means to be complacent. Listen to me. You who are so smug, you walk around America carelessly. Not just America. Hot girl summer, you go where? To Jamaica and act promiscuous. Just lay down with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. A lot of these bitches are not coming back to America. They're ending up chopped up in pieces, in body bags, thrown in the ocean, or never found, never again. So continue on. In a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care. After what? Those job cuts. Woo! For your fruit crops will fail. The grocery stores, they're starting to become what? Scarce due to the tariffs. A famine is getting ready to hit America. And the harvest will never take place. Tremble, ye women of ease. And this is not only talking about actual women. America is known as what? Babylon. That filthy whore. It's also a woman. This place has been complacent, but guess what? It's collapsing. But also the Lord likens the daughter of Zion, which is the men, women, and children of Israel, to wake the hell up. It's time to stop being complacent with this place, man. Thinking that this place is going to go on. Your children's going to graduate. You're setting up a trust funding. You got a 401k, a pigeon, life savings that you're hoping to retire on. Tremble, ye women of ease. Throw off your complacency. Strip off your pretty clothes. You know what happens when a man strip off your clothes? They finna rape you, ravish you, and put on burlap to show your grief. And that's what these foreign troops are going to do to America. Beat your breast in sorrow for your bountiful farms and your fruitful grapevines. What do we see happening to the farms? They're shutting down catching a blaze. They're culling all the cattle from cattle disease, bird flu, and all types of other shit. What's happening with all the different stores? They're closing down, going bankrupt. I just got a report on my phone, an alert of another grocery chain filing for bankruptcy. For your land will be overgrown with thorns and briars. What happens with that? That means you got ghost towns or ghost cities. Look at New York City. Look at California. Look all around the US of A. This bitch is closing, going bankrupt. Foreclosure signs. It's going out of business. Your joyful homes and happy towns will be gone. You see? The palace and the city will be deserted, and busy towns will be empty, boarded up. Wild donkeys will frolic, and flocks will graze in the empty forts and watchtowers, until at the last the Spirit is poured out on us from heaven. Then the wilderness will become a fertile field, and the fertile field will be bountiful crops. And that's in the kingdom of heaven. But let's read that in the NLT. I'm going to read KJV, verse 13. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. What is that joyous city? America, which is Babylon the Great. AK, you already know, the US of A. So we're going to close out with this. 1 John chapter, what is it? 3? No, chapter 5. No, 1 John 2 and verse 15. That's what I want. Yep. Salakia. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. And it reads, do not love the world, because this world will let you down, man. It's not forever. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And whose world are we living in? The Edomites' world. This is not our world right now. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, because the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is not with this world. His intentions or determination is to destroy this place. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. What's the American slogan? We're proud to be an American. It's not of the Father, but it's of the world. You see? What's going to happen to this world? And the world passeth away. Remember, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So it's high time to awake out of sleep and return back to the Heavenly Father. Matter of fact, that's what we're going to close out on. Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 1. Check this out. This is what we're supposed to be going into. Wisdom's invitation. Wisdom had builded her house. She had hewn out her 7 pillars, her foundation. She had killed her beast. So wisdom is also known as what? A feast. Because that's what you have. Different cattle, different beast. She had mingled her wine. Remember the other nations, their wine is as the wine of gall. The grapes of the grapes of gall, of poison, pretty much. But wisdom is also known as wine that she has mingled. She had also furnished her table. What is her table that she furnished? Where you sit down and eat spiritual food. This book, the Holy Bible. She had sent forth her maidens. Who is her maidens? Her servants. The mouthpiece of the Heavenly Father. She cried, that's what we do, upon the highest places of this city. That's where you can find us, on the highways and hedges, crying aloud, sparing not, lifting up our voices like trumpets, warning the Lord's people to turn in hither. Verse 4, whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanted understanding of what? Wisdom and knowledge. She said to him, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled, not the heathen nations' wine. That's gall, that's poison. But come and drink of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures. Forsake the foolish, and that's what the Lord calls this world. Matter of fact, 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 21. For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 19. For the wisdom of this world, the so-called white man's
Feminism.
that's his wisdom, the so-called white man's
Philosophy.
his thinking, his reasoning, his thought, his wisdom and knowledge, it's foolishness. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. For it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. And that's how the serpent was known in the beginning. Subtle, crafty, a snake-ass nigga, man. And that's what the so-called white people are known as. Proverbs 9 and verse 6. Forsake the foolish, the Edomites, philosophies, and live and go in the way of understanding, which is the scripture. So call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, forgiving me the spirit, to do this lesson. Kwam Yashala, which means rise, Israel, and it's on to the next one. Unemployment for black women is rise.